They were four women who changed television forever. Sharp-tongued, unapologetically funny, and brilliantly written. The Golden Girls wasn't just a sitcom. It was a cultural revolution full of laughter and cheesecake. But behind the smiles, behind the jokes and late-night kitchen scenes, something was shifting. Something no amount of laughter could hide. And it would all come crashing down during one unforgettable episode, the scene that ended it all. When The Golden Girls premiered in 1985, no one expected four women over 50 to dominate primetime. Hollywood was obsessed with youth, yet here came Dorothy Zbornak, Rose Nyland, Blanche Devereaux, and Sophia Petrillo, sharing a Miami home, navigating friendship, heartbreak, and aging with the kind of wit that made audiences laugh. B.A. Arthur, Betty White, Rue McClanahan, and Estelle Getty didn't just play characters, they were them. Their chemistry was so natural, you'd swear they'd known each other their whole lives. Each episode delivered something real beneath the humor: loneliness, love, aging, and the fear of being forgotten. By the late 80s, the show was pulling in over 20 million viewers a week, winning Emmys, and cementing itself as a cultural touchstone. But as the laughter echoed louder, the pressure behind the scenes was building. B.A. Arthur, the towering talent who played Dorothy, was the backbone of the series. Her sharp delivery, timing, and authority gave the show its structure. Yet as early as season 5, crew members noticed she seemed distant. Arthur loved the work, but not always the machine behind it. The long filming hours, the constant press, and creative tension were wearing on her. And, privately, there was friction with Betty White. It wasn't personal hatred, more like an oil and water situation. BEA's dry, cerebral humor clashed with Betty's sunny personality. On camera they sparkled. Off camera they kept their distance. So when NBC began pushing for more slapstick and romantic subplots, B.A. Arthur worried the heart of the show. The friendship between women was being diluted. She didn't quit. Not yet. But she was thinking about it. By season 6, The Golden Girls was still popular, but something felt different. Television was changing. Audiences were shifting toward edgier comedies and younger casts. Writers began tweaking tone. More guest stars, more romance, sometimes at the expense of the grounded storytelling that once defined the show. The women felt it. The laughter was still there, but the energy wasn't the same. B.A. Arthur had begun telling close friends that season 7 might be her last. NBC executives, sensing this, urged her to stay, but she'd made up her mind. And so, the creative team began planning what would unknowingly become the infamous final scene. The two-part finale, titled One Flew Out of the Cuckoo's Nest, aired in May 1992. On paper, it was everything fans could want. Dorothy finding love and happiness after years of bad luck, marrying Blanche's Uncle Lucas, played by Leslie Nielsen, and finally moving on. But behind the scenes, everyone knew this was more than just a wedding storyline. It was a farewell. Filming that episode was emotional. The set felt heavy. Crew members whispered between takes. Every laugh carried the weight of goodbye. Estelle Getty, battling the early symptoms of dementia that would later worsen, often needed cue cards. Betty White and Rue McClanahan kept things light, but even they were struggling. Then came the scene. It happens near the end of the episode. Dorothy, in her wedding dress, hugs her friends goodbye. Blanche, Rose, and Sophia cling to her, unable to let go. The laughter gives way to silence. Then, as Dorothy walks out, she suddenly reappears in the doorway, just to say one more goodbye. On paper, it's simple. On screen, it's devastating. That wasn't acting. Those were real tears. B.A. Arthur later admitted that filming that moment was one of the hardest things she'd ever done. She knew she was walking away, not just from the character, but from years of friendship, success, and shared history. When the director called cut, the studio audience didn't cheer. They cried. Crew members stood frozen. And B.A. Arthur walked off set, tears streaming down her face. That final embrace became the infamous scene that symbolized the end of an era, and the moment The Golden Girls truly ended. After the finale aired, NBC tried to keep the magic alive. They launched a spin-off, The Golden Palace, with Betty White, Rue McClanahan, and Estelle Getty opening a Miami hotel. But without B.A. Arthur's grounding presence, it wasn't the same. The tone felt off. The chemistry, that rare lightning in a bottle, had vanished. Viewers tuned in out of loyalty, but it didn't last. After one short season, The Golden Palace was cancelled. Critics said it bluntly, the heart of The Golden Girls left when Dorothy walked out that door. There's a moment fans never saw, After the final take, BEA Arthur quietly returned to the kitchen set. She sat at the table, the same table where hundreds of late-night cheesecake conversations had been filmed, and just stared. Betty White later said, "We didn't say goodbye right away. We just sat there, the four of us, in silence. Nobody wanted to leave first." It was a moment that captured what the show meant, not just to them, but to millions of viewers who'd grown up watching these women talk about life, love, and everything in between. That unspoken silence was the true ending. So why did that scene hit so hard? Because The Golden Girls wasn't about glamour or punchlines. It was about aging, friendship, and the power of women who refused to fade into the background. When Dorothy walked out, she represented something deeper: change, loss, and the inevitability of moving on. It wasn't a Hollywood ending. It was a real one. And that's why fans still cry watching that scene today, because it reminds them of their own goodbyes. After that finale, The Golden Girls didn't disappear. It became timeless. The reruns found new generations of fans. Lines like "Picture It," "Sicily 1922," and "Thank You for Being a Friend" became part of pop culture. But that last scene, the one that ended it all, remains burned into the minds of everyone who watched it live. Not because it was scandalous or shocking, but because it was real. It was the first time a sitcom let four older women say goodbye with grace, honesty, and love. The end of The Golden Girls wasn't just the end of a sitcom. It was the closing of a chapter in television history. A reminder that age doesn't dull humor, that friendship doesn't fade, and that sometimes the most powerful endings are the simplest ones. Dorothy walking through that door wasn't just an exit. It was a statement. A final bow from a woman who had given everything to make millions laugh and think. And though that infamous scene took The Golden Girls off the air, it ensured the show would never truly die. Because somewhere, on late-night reruns, the laughter still echoes. And in kitchens around the world, fans are still sitting down with cheesecake, smiling through their tears, whispering the words we all know by heart. Thank you for being a friend. When the lights dimmed on The Golden Girls, it felt like the end of an era. Millions had watched Dorothy close the door one final time, leaving Blanche, Rose, and Sophia behind. It wasn't just another sitcom ending. It was a goodbye to something that had become part of people's lives. People expected her to fade from the spotlight, but she didn't. Her humor, dry, direct, and brutally honest, kept her relevant. She made guest appearances on Malcolm in the Middle and Curb Your Enthusiasm, and even in her later years, fans recognized her as the sharp-witted Dorothy who never backed down. Behind the scenes, BEA was private. She rarely spoke about The Golden Girls in interviews, but those who knew her said she was proud of the show's legacy, even if it had ended on a note of exhaustion. BEA Arthur passed away in 2009 at age 86 from cancer. When news of her death broke, tributes poured in from around the world. People didn't just remember her as a TV character, they remembered her as a voice of strength, independence, and quiet intelligence. Betty White, who played Rose Nyland, was the complete opposite of Dorothy: sweet, naive, and endlessly optimistic. After The Golden Girls, she kept working like nothing had changed. She joined the Golden Palace alongside Rue McClanahan and Estelle Getty, but the spin-off didn't last. Still, Betty never stopped moving. She went on to star in shows like Hot in Cleveland and became a social media sensation decades later. Her career lasted longer than anyone could have imagined. She was everywhere, in commercials, talk shows, even hosting Saturday Night Live at 88 years old. Audiences loved her because she was authentic. Betty didn't try to reinvent herself, she just kept being Betty White. She was sharp, funny, and always professional. Betty lived to be 99, passing away on December 31, 2021, just weeks before her 100th birthday. Her death felt like the true final curtain for The Golden Girls. Fans across generations mourned her, calling her the heart of the show and one of the kindest souls in Hollywood. Rue McClanahan brought Blanche Devereaux to life, the confident, flirtatious Southern woman who refused to let age define her. But in real life, Rue was softer and more introspective than Blanche. After The Golden Girls, Rue took on various TV roles and stage performances. She appeared in the Golden Palace and guest starred on several sitcoms. Off-screen, she also became an advocate for animal rights and women's health awareness. Rue was married 6 times, and she often joked about it during interviews, using humor to deflect questions about her personal life. But her friends said she was deeply loyal, caring, and devoted to her craft. In 2007, Rue suffered a minor stroke but continued to work afterward. Sadly, In 2010, she passed away at age 76 after a brain hemorrhage. Her death marked the third loss from the original cast within just a few years. Her passing reminded fans of how deeply the world had connected with Blanche, not for her glamour, but for her confidence, her belief that beauty and love didn't belong to the young alone. Estelle Getty was the oldest of the four on screen, but in real life, she was younger than Bea Arthur. Makeup and wigs aged her into Sophia Petrillo, the wisecracking mother with a memory full of Sicily stories. Off-screen, Estelle was shy. Fame overwhelmed her. Fans would shout "Picture it, Sicily" at her in public, and she often didn't know how to react. During the later seasons of The Golden Girls, Estelle began showing signs of memory loss. The cast and crew helped her through it, but by the time The Golden Palace aired, her health was declining. In the late 90s, Estelle was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, a condition similar to Alzheimer's that affects memory and motor skills. She retired from acting and lived quietly with family until her passing in 2008 at age 84. Her death hit the cast hard. Betty White said, "She was tiny, but she filled every room she entered." When the show ended in 1992, nobody knew it would remain one of the most watched and beloved sitcoms decades later. Yet The Golden Girls kept coming back, in reruns, streaming services, and endless fan tributes. Younger audiences discovered it online. They didn't just laugh at the jokes, they admired how bold it was. The show talked openly about issues rarely addressed on TV at the time: aging, loneliness, death, same-sex relationships, and female independence. In the 1980s, no one expected four older women to lead a hit show. Now, The Golden Girls is studied in film schools as a pioneer for women-led television. It paved the way for shows like Sex and the City, Grace and Frankie, and Hot in Cleveland. Even in today's fast-paced media world, The Golden Girls remains timeless. Its humor feels natural, its emotion real, and its lessons universal. Walk into any pop culture store today and you'll find Golden Girls merchandise, shirts, mugs, even action figures. There's a Golden Girls cruise, trivia nights, and fan conventions. People don't just watch the show for nostalgia. They watch it for comfort. When the world feels heavy, The Golden Girls feels like home. Each woman represented something bigger. Dorothy showed strength and intellect. Rose showed kindness and innocence. Blanche showed confidence and desire. Sophia showed wisdom and humor. Together, they made something rare, a show that could make you laugh, cry, and think all in one episode. When Betty White passed away in 2021, fans around the world said it felt like the true end of The Golden Girls. She had been the last surviving member of the main cast. But the truth is, the show never really ended. Every time someone discovers it for the first time, the laughter starts again. Every time someone replays that goodbye scene, those emotions come rushing back. The Golden Girls proved that age doesn't limit relevance, that friendship has no expiration date, and that sometimes the strongest stories are told around a kitchen table at midnight, with a slice of cheesecake and a listening ear. The infamous scene that ended The Golden Girls didn't kill its legacy, it immortalized it. It reminded viewers that even endings can be beautiful when they come from truth. Years after the show's finale, fans still quote the lines, still share clips online, still sing "Thank you for being a friend." The laughter may have faded from the set, but it echoes everywhere. In living rooms, on streaming platforms, and in the hearts of people who grew up with these four women. They may have closed that Miami house door forever, but their friendship, humor, and strength left it open for generations to walk through.